What makes Web 2.0 possible? If you look deep down the stack, it all comes down to iron, to plastic, to fiber. Something as simple as a dynamic interface requires a modern processor on the client side and a lot of bandwidth and also processing and storage on the back end. For example, a simple webmail is 10 times less bandwidth intensive than an Ajax application. And back in the days of modems, you wouldn't wait for a megabyte of JavaScript to download. Open source software and CMSs. There are now tools which allow the layman to publish on the internet. 10 years ago, in order to create a website, you would require some very specific skills and some professionals. The barriers to entry are falling thanks to free software like the lab stack, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, Perl, and CMSs like Joomla, Drupal, and WordPress. Now, if I were to order these three in putting the most useful on top, that would be Drupal. This is a real powerhouse of a CMS, which is tailored for Web 2.0, and which out of the box provides you with many of the functionalities that I discussed previously. So these were not available 10 years ago, and their emergence allowed the creation of many Web 2.0 projects. Free and open source code on the front end, modular open code on the front end. Web 2.0 brought the user-friendly interactive asynchronous interfaces. And these are possible thanks to libraries, in part possible thanks to libraries like jQuery, the Yahoo Userface Interface, Doji Toolkit. And also something happened, I believe, that interface design for the internet became a science. And the final component of the prerequisites for Web 2.0 is the eternal September. This is a term that I quite like. Back in the day, before the popular web, people were introduced to the internet only when they were accepted into a university, because that's where the internet was. And each September, when the freshmen came, you would get an influx of newbies on discussion boards. And then the quality of conversation on the internet fell until the new guys could wear the netiquette. And some people say that September 1993 never ended, because since then we get this non-stopping influx of new users on the internet. And for Web 2.0 to work, you need a critical mass of people. You cannot have a social media project with a limited number of people. Thanks to the existence of these prerequisites, the open source systems on the back end and the modular open source code on the front end, Web 2.0 success stories often belong to small teams, which is also a new thing. Stories like Facebook, Reddit, Dig, where fortunes were made, were often the result of 2 to 4 guys. How would one go about implementing a social media project? These steps are taken from the book Community and Conversation by Jan Gentle. So of course the first phase is the listening phase. You would want to see what the standards are. You would comment on blogs. You would continue to explore the medium. You would go into the content sharing phase, where you probably would contribute to a wiki or publish articles under a Creative Commons license, which allows free distribution but still lets you protect your identity as an author. And finally, when you are sure about your capabilities to run a platform of your own, you would go into the platform phase. Then First, what you need to do is, of course, to offer content on the internet. This is an incremental process, as it is described. You would start from the simplest forms of interaction. Move on to the advanced stuff. Allow external authors to publish on your platform. And finally, provide total transparency and allow free contribution. An important thing when discussing social media is the motivations of people who contribute to social media projects. This is not true, or at least this is not true in a business context. People would spend copious amounts of time fooling around on the internet and posting pics of their cat. But when it comes to actually contributing to a business community, things are a bit more complex. But still, there are valid motivations for people who contribute in a business context. People would want to make a name for themselves in the professional community by posting on forums or authoring content. They might want to train their writing skills. And the real secret, the one thing I promised to talk about earlier, is to have passionate users for your social media platform. What creates passionate users? It's very simple, actually. Passionate users are the result of offering a good product or a good service, and I believe that everyone present here works for a company that does exactly that. Then you would start modestly, simply. You would listen to your users because their expectations are very different in terms of what they expect from a web application. Their expectations are very different from what they were 5 years ago. So start simple, provide a good product, and listen to your users. Thank you.